Okay, the other guys. Initially, you get to see The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson are like the over-the-top, super cops who, in their opening chase scene, are hunting down people with like a misdemeanor amount of marijuana, and they cause $12 million worth in damage, including driving their car through a double-decker bus and then into Trump Towers. Yeah, they are ridiculously over the top. They're met with an unfortunate end when they're chasing some professional bank robbers, and then decide to jump off like a 20-story building, thinking they could just land in some bushes and survive. But they're in New York, so there aren't any bushes, so they jump and land flush on the sidewalk. That then leaves a void in the police department. And their captain is Micheal Keaton, who for some strange reason, when he's talking, he occasionally spouts out lyrics from TLC songs, but he has no idea who TLC is. You're probably thinking, that sounds really random. This movie does have a lot of that really random feel to it. Mark Wahlberg is like the super aggressive cop, who ironically is an amazing ballet dancer too. You find that out when he goes to visit his ex-girlfriend. Will Ferrell plays an absolutely phenomenal straight man, with Eva Mendes as his wife. He constantly refers to her as not being attractive, as being dressed like a hobo. And the descriptions he uses for things are very intricate and bizarre. She's a doctor, Eva Mendes, who is Will Ferrell's wife, makes him some braised short ribs, and he more or less says that they taste like he's eating the anus of a dog, but he doesn't use the word anus, he uses the actual full terminology. And then he's like, what sort of woman would slow cook a dog's anus for her husband? That's right, you would. So he's got this really super dry, regardless of what he's saying attitude that, I'll be honest, is ridiculously funny. I cannot stand Will Ferrell for the life of me, but seeing him as the unapologetic straight man is just ridiculously hilarious. You probably think, alright, so what's the main plot? A rich industrial banker has some problems with some scaffolding permits. They decide to arrest him because of the scaffolding permits. Then they come to find out he's going to try to embezzle $32 billion to cover losses he has to other people who do illicit activities. They really can't prove this at all. And they're told from higher ups, just let it go. You don't have enough to really go in on this. And it is weird and bizarre and crazy over the top. When you see Will Ferrell in a car chase scene against two giant white vans, three Nigerians on motorcycles, Chechens in a helicopter. Did I mention that Will Ferrell is driving a Prius? And he owns all of them while driving a Prius. The humor ranges from being subtle to just smacking you in the head with things that are so over the top you kind of go, how are you writing this? Were you writing this like, alright, regular section of dialogue, crazy, super over the top sequence? Will Ferrell's character is really reserved because when you hear about his past, in college he was kind of a pimp. He helped take care of a bunch of women who went out on dates, and then he got a portion of their money. And he was called Gator. So you can see some images of a younger Will Ferrell dressed fairly thug rich. It's different. You learn very little about Mark Wahlberg's background, except that apparently he learns how to be phenomenal at all these different forms of art primarily to get back at the fairies and the queens that he made fun of when he was growing up. That's why he's awesome at ballet. It's later mentioned he's really great at playing the harp. So yeah, this movie is ridiculously over the top. And the sequence where Will Ferrell and Eva Mendes are exchanging dialogue through Eva Mendes' mother is... yeah. She's like, I don't want to say what he said. It involves a mannequin head, electric razor, and a golf club. So you get jokes like that that are just so ridiculously over the top. But when it comes to a comedy and like a shade under 2 hours, like an hour and 40 minutes, this is an absolutely fantastic, over the top police action comedy. And that's The Other Guys. Oh, it's also narrated by Ice-T. Might as well throw that in there.